for sure. All right, we're back here with episode 3 of the 51 Minutes Until We Shut Up podcast. And there's been some recent things going on. You know, the Super Bowl was over this weekend. What'd you think of the Rams' performance?
I feel like it was a good game all around. Like, honestly, like compared to like a lot of the other Super Bowls we've had, like imagine that one Rams Super Bowl where they got blown out. This is like a really good one, honestly. Like I was comparing a lot of the last few Super Bowls, and like this, at least it was a good game. It started out kind of slow, but kind of, well, I guess it started out fast scoring, and then kind of stalled out in the middle.
Yeah, it was really good. I liked it as well. It was interesting to see the Rams' depth actually tested in a big way because, you know, the Bengals, they are for real. I think they kind of proved that in that game that, you know, maybe this year wasn't their year, but they're going to be a problem in the future for sure.
I think a lot of this game kind of boiled down to like game planning because early in the game they were doing a lot of like quick plays where they would like get the ball out of Joe Burrow's hand as fast as possible, like anything to like speed up because they were just coming with multiple blitzes over and over again. And then at some point in the second quarter, they just gave up on that plan altogether. They were going to a lot more of those deep balls. And then like Joe Burrow sitting there in the pocket for longer, and it let those DBs come in. And poor Joe Burrow, he's just getting smothered in there.
Yeah, for a while it looked like they were going to pull it off, but something changed in the second half. And did you catch that? Did you catch that? The ending drive by Matthew Stafford, or the pass anyway? Yeah, to Cooper Kupp. It was pretty good late game to win it.
It has that like it was very beautiful, and honestly they've been doing that all year. That duo with Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, once he got there, I'm not saying that Cooper Kupp wasn't going to make the step, but like Jesus Christ, won an MVP this season, led the freaking league in passing yards. It blows my mind that he went from what he was last year to now this once Matthew Stafford steps in. And then great for Matthew Stafford, he finally gets a ring. And I kind of have a feeling now that at some point we're going to turn into a league where each team, like if you think back, Peyton Manning won a ring, and once he left Indy, he went into the Broncos, won a championship, he gets a ring. Tom Brady left, he got a ring, and now Matthew Stafford leaves, he gets a ring. Like maybe this will start influencing like quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers to be like, well, maybe I could go win a ring somewhere else.
Right. And I mean, I know Odell is not a quarterback, but I guess you could throw him in that as well because now he left and found success after he left Baker Mayfield, and it seemed to be a good pairing. He started off the game really well until he got that no contact injury. I think it was the ACL tear.
Yeah, so it was announced
pretty
today.
bad. Yeah, ACL.
It was just announced.
Yeah, it looks like he'll be out for the next 12 months.
I saw tweets of him like crying on the sideline, like because he wanted to go back in the game so bad, but like he's like, you know what I mean, like your knee. He had the ball in his hand and like kind of wanted to put weight down, but like went to go move his leg and could tell right away and just like threw the ball. Like he kind of I don't know how the ball flew in the air like that. It was really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. He started off the game super, super well. And
honestly,
it would have been interesting.
As soon as he got hurt, if you look at what happened, like they were like, as soon as Odell was on the field, like that whole offense was running so much better because now they can't like do what they were doing late in game where they just put everybody on Cooper Kupp.
Smother Cooper Kupp. Yeah.
They still couldn't get him. And then Apple at the end with that little juke move on Apple. Oh, poor Apple.
That's why I was
trolling him.
I was saying ODB was going to be the player to watch for me because you already know the defense is going to be all over Cooper Kupp. So, you know, they're going to be looking for a second scoring option. And yeah, they did that right off the gate. It looked like
they couldn't stop him off the bat. Like there's nobody. He scored the early touchdown and then he got that really nice like 40-yard play. And he was wide open on that one too. And then the next play they threw it to him, he hurt himself. So like,
yeah.
But it just makes me sad.
Thankfully, they won the Super Bowl because could you imagine getting injured and not winning the game too? Like the what ifs that would follow after that.
Did you hear about the story of the guy, that Jefferson wide receiver? His wife had a kid during the game. They had to escort her out of the stadium to go give birth to his child, and he left. Like, he's like, yeah, we won a Super Bowl, and like celebrate with the team for a little bit, and then just ran out of the stadium to go to the hospital to meet his wife so he can see his second child. It's
Geez,
just such a cool story.
Yeah, that's a day he'll never forget.
That wide receiver Jefferson on the Rams. That's crazy.
He's got to be like the only person in history to win a Super Bowl ring and have a kid this same day.
Can you imagine like being on the sidelines and like someone runs up to you, hey, your wife is like leaving in an ambulance. You're like, why? She's giving birth. What? You know what I mean? And then have to still play, and then like you guys win the Super Bowl, so you're like on this emotional roller coaster. Like, I'm having a baby. Okay, I need to go in and play. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
and then play some plays. And then you guys win the Super Bowl, so you're on that high of like, we finally did it. We have a ring. You know what I mean? Especially for the Rams, they haven't had a ring in forever, so it's excited.
A lot to process at once, for sure. It would be a lot. Speaking of championships, did you see that LeBron James, he wanted to combine his like championship ceremony with the Rams, because I guess during the bubble they weren't able, like with the COVID stuff, they weren't able to have their own championship ceremony. So he wanted to combine that with the Rams championship ceremony. I don't know.
I didn't hear about that.
I mean, I could see his perspective because they didn't get their championship parade. But at the same time, majority of the players that played with that LA team are no longer on that team. So what, you're going to have like half the people come to the parade that aren't on LA anymore? And then LA also
have Laker and Rams jerseys like cut in half, and the fans will be out there. Whoa!
Yeah, it'd be weird. So a lot of people wouldn't be there. Or would you have like the new team that didn't?
Do you really think Laker fans won't show up? Do you think Laker fans won't show up?
No, I'm sure
We're talking Laker fans.
But it's kind of weird though, because they're doing horrible right now. So it's like you're having a bad season right now, but you're having a championship parade.
Yeah, can you? They're going through like, we won a championship last year, and we're doing terrible.
18 months ago, like there's been a whole new champion since then, and I don't know what LeBron was thinking with that one. Honestly, I don't know. It'd be weird.
I haven't heard that one. That one's like hilarious to me.
I almost hope it happens just for like the laughs. That'd be good. The amount of like comedy in that, the sheer comedy would be great.
There was rumors too that Aaron Donald guy he was talking about retiring if they won the Super Bowl. And to think, okay, he has an 8-year career. He's been in the year 8 years. He had a Rookie of the Year in 2014. He's a Super Bowl champ. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler. He's a 7-team first team All-Pro, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2010 All-Decade Team. And he's had a 90 plus PFF grade every year and only missed 2 games ever, but not related to injury. So like COVID or he's sick or something like that. So he's never been injured ever. Like, can you imagine that kind of resume going in?
That maybe he got quite the resume. He's got the accolades.
He's like, what more do I need to do for this city?
He's on track to be first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt.
I think honestly, big thing we need to bring up too is like it is kind of suspicious, some of these flags late in the game. To me, it's a little like it's the last 2 minutes of the game. We can't be like deciding little teeny holds like so you're gonna let him play all game and do these same things. Like Ramsey got thrown by his face mask, like. And I don't want to say thrown because it looked like a little tug. It kind of looked like Ramsey was falling down on his own. And if that player didn't even touch his face mask, he would have still fell on his face and been gone. But because he touched his mask, now everyone's like, oh, well. But honestly, those late flags that like deter like that Cooper Kupp getting another free chance because they stopped him on that one. Yeah. And then they threw a flag. And it was honestly a linebacker on Cooper Kupp, which is a mixed match, but he played really good defense. But because he draped over, like, so I'm supposed to just sit here and swat at the ball and not drape over you.
Yeah, and then it leads to him getting a 79-yard reception, or like and then they got the touchdown off of that. I think it was a no-look pass as well. Did you see that? It was a no-look from Matthew Stafford.
That I can't believe. I've never seen him do something like that.
That was incredible.
Him and Cooper Kupp, though, late in the game, they were just automatic. They were just bing, 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 bing. Cooper Kupp again. Oh, Cooper Kupp again. Oh, Cooper Kupp again. Will somebody guard this guy?
Yeah, they seem to be in sync for sure. It was a good
But
game, though. I liked it. I thought the halftime show was pretty good as well. It was entertaining to see somebody besides Tom Brady there for once.
what's up with 50 Cent coming in upside down?
Yeah, that threw me off too. I don't know what's
I,
up with
he,
that.
it was supposed to be like paying homage to one of his old tracks or like one of his old CD covers or something like
Coming
that.
in upside down, huh?
I don't like that's what I heard, but like I don't know. Maybe I just don't know 50 Cent like that. But like I keep hearing everything about it everywhere. There's like memes everywhere now and all over. I keep seeing them.
Yeah, I don't know about that. If you guys know anything about that, make sure to leave a comment. And yeah, because that's a mystery to me too. But I did want to talk a little bit about the NBA, specifically, James Harden and Ben Simmons. There's been some new news.
Juicy.
Yeah, they were on the press conference today, kind of just talking about how they felt, about the trade. And I don't know if you saw Ben Simmons say that he did not have a chance to talk to Joel Embiid. So there's definitely some animosity building in the East.
It's going to be so nice to see these games late in the season, like after all these moves and seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
Honestly, what Ben Simmons was so scripted. Like he seemed not really like script, but like he doesn't want to say when he's going to come back. And then his little comment where he's like, I hope I'm ready for the Philadelphia game, which isn't like that far away.
Yeah. And then when you think about it too, I think the trade really does fit Ben Simmons a little bit better than James Harden because, the talent he has around him. We know what KD does. We know what Kyrie does. And they also have two 40% three-point shooters in Patty Mills and Seth Curry to complement him, And then when Joe Harris is back, he's a 46% shooter from three. Then you have Aldridge. He could play the pick and pop all day. He's 31%.
I love Aldridge on that team.
Yeah, and he's 31% from three as well.
Same with that little rookie center of theirs, that Joe Johnson guy. He's not a good three-point shooter, but he'll be good with him and Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
because Ben Simmons want to play point guard, and then we run Kyrie at the. See, this is where it kind of gets like, so Durant's playing power forward. I'm curious how they're gonna line this up. I'm curious how they're gonna do it because Ben's gonna want to play point guard no matter what, and if they won't let him play point guard, he might throw a fit. So I think this is also going to be a thing. He doesn't like playing versus like centers and stuff like that. He's not going to want to be a center.
But they could just throw him, in the point guard position at the very least for all the games that Kyrie doesn't play. Like home games, he'll definitely play point guard.
I bet you they're going to try to say something like that. I bet you.
Right, yeah. They'll probably try to come up with some deal because there's no way Kyrie is not playing point guard when he's on the floor. That doesn't make any sense. Where else do you put him?
That's what I heard other things on Twitter that when he first got traded there, he's like, what am I going to do there? Like, I'm a point guard. And that's what he was thinking too.
That was my first reaction too. But when you really look at it a little bit more, I think the pieces around him fit his skill set a little bit better.
Most definitely. Yeah. Compared to the 76ers with all like Embiid driving, Tobias Harris driving,
right?
Like they're all kind of hovering, looking for like, and you only can have so many dunkers. You have to have shooters and slashers.
Yeah, and that was the problem in Philly is they didn't have anybody else to kind of like to relieve Ben Simmons of that. I mean, he is a guard and he should be able to shoot free throws at the very least. But if he is surrounded with a team that can shoot threes, then they don't necessarily need him for that. But what they do get back, from Ben Simmons that they weren't getting from James Harden is his defensive prowess, his versatility in that aspect. He could guard a 1 through 5. James Harden,
hustle.
Yeah,
his
like
hustle.
They're gaining a lot. I think they definitely got better with this trade. And, that's hard to say when you get rid of James Harden. I still don't believe he's top 5 shooting guard, in my personal opinion. I got to clarify that because I'm getting roasted online for saying he was not even top 10. But he's obviously a top 10 shooting guard. But in my personal opinion, this year, the way he's performing, and it's not just about stats to me. His attitude is a big thing. You force your way out of Houston. Mm-hmm. Now you force your way out of the Nets. With, he had Chris Paul in Houston, he had the teammates there, and he had the teammates in Brooklyn. So what's to say that this is going to work with Embiid? If it does work, that'd be great. They'd be a great combo, but I'm just not convinced that he can make this work. And I'm counting down the days, really, until he leaves.
I don't think he'll play out like that. He seems to be like integrating with the team well, hanging out with everybody. I'm worried about how he's going to pan out with Doc Rivers, and Doc Rivers is like his attitude and like being more of a hard, like if you mess up, he's going to say something about it kind of coach. And like that's really probably what Ben Simmons didn't like. Like if he was like if he's in his own head, if he's self-conscious, like I guarantee you that's like a lot to do with like why Ben Simmons left or pulled what he pulled in the first place. It's just not liking Doc Rivers, because it was like that the one season Doc Rivers is there. Now all of a sudden Ben Simmons doesn't want to play, and we bring in Doug Morey, and then as soon as Harden gets off the plane, he hugs Doug Morey. Like Doug Morey's waiting for him as he comes off the airplane, like, "Yay, Harden, you're home." So like to me, I don't think he's gonna leave just because of like that kind of stuff. Like he kind of feels like he's home again. They can kind of rebuild. Can you imagine that this was
Do you
their
mean
plan?
Daryl Morey?
Daryl Morey.
He
Yeah,
said
their
Doug
GM.
there. I was like, who the hell is Doug?
Yeah.
No
Their
worries. I
GM.
got your point though, for sure. Yeah.
I saw a tweet today where James Harden got off the plane that he like the GM was waiting for him. And what if this was all planned from Houston? Well, what because he was leaving the Houston job, he knew he was going to get fired. James Harden's like, well, then I'll try to like somehow get to the same team you are, or you try to trade for me in the future. And what if this was all like behind closed doors and they're talking about like, hey, this like honestly, think about it. Like, and all of a sudden he's back on his old GM's team on a new team with new draft picks, like MVP to say the least. Let's just say MVP and Embiid. He might have his injury issues, but like still, like look at their situation compared to the Rockets. Like you're leaving this shit show to go to something that maybe you could do something.
Right. Yeah, there's no question of what Embiid brings to the table. He's playing as undoubtedly the best big man in the league right now. He's unstoppable. And if James Harden can make it work, they would be a fucking killer pick and roll pair up. The pick and roll plays that they're gonna run, it's just gonna be like a dominant pairing, like Kobe
James
and Shaq.
Harden?
I think of it like Kobe and Shaq, but now Shaq can shoot threes.
But
and space
think back when Harden was on Houston and he had Clint Capella and like his lob threat and like just imagine Clint Capella and now plug and play and beat.
That's a better. Yeah, that's a better.
Would that work? Yeah, that's just a better shooter to think about.
Now Clint can shoot now. You know what I'm saying? Because
that too. That's the scary part. He doesn't have to just drive every time, or if he does and you don't man up on him and he knows, because you see him beat, he just kind of bullies. He's just like, if you're not gonna get in my way, I'm gonna just step by you or through you. I love his attitude.
Yeah,
he's one of my favorites.
Stopped. He's great. I love Embiid as well. He's a very fun player to watch.
You see Joker's block the other night? Did you see the highlight?
I missed it. No.
Oh my god, to win the game, Joker just swats it out of the air. Like I love it. I love Joker.
Well, now that you bring up the West, that is kind of reminded me of something I saw here today that I thought was interesting. That did you know for the Blazers, Nurk only has a $12 million a year contract. $12 million a year for Nurk. That's kind of interesting.
I have some fishy stuff too. So here's a couple takes. So if we were going to trade Nurk, we would have traded him this last offseason. We were like clearly trying to get rid of contracts, and clearly we were trying to keep smart contracts. I have a weird feeling. So I have a couple conspiracies, or a couple of like weird things. That I have a weird feeling that because our head coach was on the Clippers last year, that he really liked Justice Winslow and his defense and stuff like that. Because ever since Justice Winslow came to the Blazers, he started every game. And him and Chancey Billups are just like really goody-goody. I've seen highlights of them on the bench, and like they're always like talking. That he seems to be really integrated in practice and stuff like that. And I found out today that the Phoenix was trying to trade for Sabonis.
Wow.
So yeah, they were trying to. So this is the kind of the weird fishy thing is they haven't paid their center, and they were offering their center for Sabonis and kind of fishing how that trade would look. And like they didn't like they were kind of just gauging, so that's why it's not like official. So it was like maybe like he said, she said kind of thing. But if Phoenix is asking to trade him, I don't know if that's like an issue. And another big thing is there's only a few good free agents that are available this offseason. So maybe that was the Blazers thought, is like Nurk's probably the best option.
And for
right
his
now.
contract too, that really touches on the point that I was, even brought it up for the 12 million. There's not too many elite centers that we can get for that contract if we were to trade that fit in that salary cap window of 12 million. So it makes it very
especially
difficult
for trading.
Right. Let's be honest here, though. There's
sense.
not that many teams calling up about Nurkic. The phone's not ringing off the hook for Nurkic offers. So it's very tough.
I bet
was
we're
hoping,
offering.
Yeah.
I bet we're like offering.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I was hoping
how
a
would you
Turner. Yeah. A Turner versus Nurk trade. That would make sense. Because looking at some of Nurk's defensive stats, he only contests, let me see here, it's about 4.3 shots in the paint a game that he contests. It's not very high numbers. You could bump that up to like 8.4 with Evan Turner. He's a much better defender. He gives you some of the 3-point shooting, so when the threes are falling, that's a plus as well with him. But of course, the Blazers, we make no moves in that area. I think he is really one of the problems with the Blazers, honestly.
I think a lot of the reason we kept him too is just to keep Lillard, if we're planning on keeping Lillard, this seemed like if we were going to trade Lillard, we wouldn't trade Nurk. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we got rid of CJ and it's a really sad thing. And like, I'm not saying Nurk's more important than CJ. I'm not trying to say that at all. But like keeping somebody that's his friend, that, you know what I mean, to keep him happy while we're moving all these pieces and like maybe make him feel more at home. I feel bad for everybody, but also we're becoming more of an interesting team, to be honest. Like, these last few games have been interesting. I still can't believe we beat the Bucks.
Right. And Josh Hart had another standout game, plus 20 points, it was in the 20 digit range.
And Justice Winslow with another great start. I love it. And then like later on, if we get a better power forward, then we totally can move Justice Winslow to the bench and he can be off the bench type, like extra wings. And like, we can keep playing around. Like, we can move Josh Hart around. I love our versatility now.
I do like some of the versatility that we picked up here with this trade, but to me, I'm still really concerned with Nurkic's defense. He's not really contesting very many shots. And then if we end up facing Denver again in a playoff run, I mean, he got murdered alive against Jokic in that Denver series. He got completely destroyed. He was fouling out of every game essentially as well. And just not making an impact on Jokic. To be fair, Jokic is MVP caliber big man, but there's other centers. There's other centers that we run into that I feel like are going to give him serious problems.
I'd be worried about Miles Turner. Like, even I would love Phoenix as center, but I highly doubt that that's even an option, or he might leave no matter what. So we have to be realistic when it comes to like what we can like get or use, or because our GMs did not make these moves for no reason. Like his job's on the line. Like, maybe he's trying to like be the active GM and seriously, if our owner gave him enough power to make these sort of moves, because our owner has to have some say in this. Like, we haven't done anything in forever. Yeah. And I'm curious how this Neil O'Shea investigation kind of like started to get the traction to get to this point, to get him out of it kind of blows my mind. Like, ever since I was a little kid, Neil O'Shea's been our freaking GM.
Right.
I've been going to games forever. He's made every one of our decisions since I was a fan.
Here's a scenario for you. What if Nurkic asks for a bigger contract? Because with a $12 million a year salary,
we trade him.
He's probably going to ask for a bigger contract.
Bye-bye. We'll release his ass. I'd be like, fine, you can go. We'll take that $12 million off our books. Thanks very much. He's
inconsistent. He's temperamental, and he's injury prone, and he's definitely going to ask for a bigger contract. So I think that's the big takeaway with him.
Would you pay him to keep Lillard? Like, if Lillard was like, I'll only stay if you keep Nurk.
Right.
I think that's also a playing chip in this too, because Dame has some say in this. And I really, do you think they went to Dame and were like, hey, do you mind if we trade CJ? Like, we're getting a chance to get a defensive very nice piece, and Keon Johnson.
Oh, I'm sure he definitely knew it was coming. There's no way they're pulling a surprise on Lillard with how things are kind of rocky right now. There's no way they're just going to surprise him with that.
I found an article that was saying the new GM seems to be hell-bent on finding players that can make up for Lillard's defensive shortcomings. Winslow, Josh Hart, like I'm not saying right now, but like this gives us options. And if these are the two players they got in mediocre trades when they were just trying to dump contracts and they were kind of like looking for the right kind of defensive player, and like let Lillard be the key of the offense and then have a bunch of role players that we rotate through. And then it's not all on anybody.
All these players are good. They are in the NBA. So it's just about like the levels of what they could bring to your team. Because in this day and age, you could go that route and do the super team thing. But if it doesn't work out, you risk sacrificing your future. But we could get specialists that do specific things and kind of like tailor our offense around like people's specialties. You know what I'm saying? Like you can be just a knockdown 3-point shooter and just stand in the corner, or a 3-and-D. Like you can be that kind of player in today's NBA. So I think we just need to really look into the advanced analytics.
Well, just like what look at all the teams.
Go ahead.
Look at all the teams doing good right now and how they build their franchises. Like, look at Golden State. They have a lot of role players, a really amazing play. They have 3 really amazing players, but one that's like beyond belief. He's not shooting very well, but also like, look at how Phoenix is built. They have multiple people, Bridges off the bench. Like they're deep. They're very deep teams. It seems to be the more deep your team is. And then even look at the Miami Heat. They're like controlling their division with a bunch of role players and win games enough to get in the playoffs, but they're so deep. Like, they have star after star after star, and they can still make moves, trade stuff. Like a lot of their guys are still on rookie contracts. It's just like,
I'm glad you brought up the Golden State Warriors. Look at Klay Thompson. He's got Klay Thompson. He's a specialist, a 3-point specialist. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's a pretty good defender too, but he's great at that one job. You know what I'm saying? We need to find players that are like that are complementary to
really
Lillard.
Good at defending,
right?
Really good at slashing, really good. Because it'd be really nice if we had like our own other power forward that could be in there with Nurk, so Nurk's not just sitting in there, and like somebody floating to the basket to be a lob threat, and like being able to rotate. Because you see our offense moving way faster. We're just passing the ball around. Like it's really nice to see our offense rotating, right? And even with rookies making it work. But we're straight up a G League team.
That stat line when I saw it today really kind of broke it down for me. You're contesting 4.6 shots in the paint per game. 4.5.
No effort. No effort.
That is
I see him all the time.
Low block. Fuck.
And at one point, I feel like early in his career, he had a whole bunch of effort, but like now he's really sluggish getting around the court.
Right.
And I noticed with Nurk, as soon as he gets upset, he has a bad game. You can see it in his face.
He's
you can see that he's frustrated.
He gets his emotions.
Yeah. That's my biggest problem. I love Nurk. I really do. Like, I swear to God. But
I'm on the opposite. I'm on the opposite opinion on that. I mean, I did like him pre-injury, and I think everybody was hoping that he was going to come back and be the same after his injury, but to me it hasn't really turned out that way. Like he's not really
scoring better this season than before, but he just doesn't seem to have the like energy that he had before. Like if he could run around.
Need him to be
I think at this point it's not about a need. It's like, well, I guess it's a need. We need a center, and we don't want to go to a young center where like if we didn't have Nurk, who would we have? And then we have some random white guy with a receding hairline again. Yeah, we're gonna get more of the we Cody Zeller's our starting center.
That's a red flag.
No.
Receding hairline is a red flag.
Oh no. Please. Like imagine all the white guy centers that we've had in Portland over the years. Do we need more? I'm not saying that like that. I'm not, but it's just it blows my mind. We've had a lot of them though. Like
Chris Villa was a good white center.
He was decent. But
Yeah.
imagine him in nowadays. You think he would make it nowadays?
Oh, no.
That's what I'm saying. Like if he played in our basketball, I love how it goes back and forth. Like those big centers, like they would hardly make it in today's league because now centers need to be able to run downfield. You need to be athletic. You need to be able to like stand and be able to shoot free throws, space the court because everybody's running all these five wide offenses and all the centers are just standing there on the 3-point line.
You
see
can't just be a
there.
cone anymore. You can't just be a cone, like a pick and roll. You know, you got to be able to space the floor out because a lot of teams are running 5 out now. And that's key to like.
And now you can't do anything about it. You just everyone's stuck doing it. So like almost every team's doing it. And if you're not, then you're really getting it taken advantage of because all those switches, they switch off of the primary player, and then all of a sudden there's a mix match. That's why Ben Simmons is so good because at some points he's on the smallest guy on the team, and all they're trying to do is make him on the smallest guy on the team, and he can just come in and just what are you supposed to do?
Well, he could defend 1 through 5. He could guard the 1 through 5 position. So if there is a need for a switch, it's not like a mismatch situation where you have a small guard on like a big forward, you know. Ben Simmons is incredible in that aspect. His defense, he's an all-world talent defender.
And just look at his stats already. He's young. He's a baby. Like, imagine this for Brooklyn. They get 2 first-round picks, a baby defensive stud, and they already have Durant and Kyrie, and they need to be able to build around. Like, I hated when Brooklyn got rid of Allen, the guy with the afro. I forget his first name.
Yeah.
But that was such a dumb move because they need a center. They need a center forever, and why did you just get rid of him? Like, it wasn't even worth it to me.
Very interesting stuff. Very great.
Well, also what we should probably talk about the Clippers and Norman Powell's injury and how that kind of affects them and what this all kind of means for, like, just imagine, think about the package that they gave up to get Paul George and then to get to Kawhi to come join the team. And now they have all this invested in these stars, and now back-to-back years you haven't even made, you can't win a championship. So what? And then at this point, Kawhi's contract's going to run out, and then like, what is Kawhi going to leave you guys again? And like, you have invested all this money into Kawhi, you have invested an unprotected first-round pick, 2 first-round swaps, and a protected first-round pick, as well as Shea Alexander in this trade. That's how they got Shea Alexander. And so, like, literally everything that's going right for the Thunder right now is all because of this trade for Paul George. And Kawhi basically told them, if they don't make this trade, I'm not coming to your team. And then maybe he would have been a Laker, like a lot of these what ifs. But that just blows my, like, at this point, like, I don't think any of this was worth it. And like, at this point, it really sounds like, because it reported here a couple of days ago that Kawhi's contract, he had a 3rd-year option and he opted out of his contract so he can be a free agent next year. So he's basically telling the Clippers, you have to pay me or I'm going to be a free agent and be able to just walk.
Right.
And they built that in.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, they had expectations of getting a championship immediately. Like, that was the expectation, championship or bust. So, you know, what they give up?
Remember Patrick
3-1. Yeah. In Cancun. Yeah. So it really looks like it hasn't worked out. And if they end up splitting this team up, it's going to be embarrassing for the Clippers. Embarrassing. Kawhi is still Kawhi. It definitely has nothing to do with Kawhi Leonard. And even Paul George really played well in the last playoff series, but he didn't have Kawhi. So it's another one of those what ifs. We never really got to see them functioning at 100%. But I actually don't care because fuck the Clippers and fuck Patrick Beverly. Like, after that
all come back.
Yeah, after all that Blazers stuff. I do like Kawhi though, but yeah, Paul George can kiss my ass too with that.
Him laughing and waving at us.
Yeah, well, when we sent him home, and OKC, he was all bitter.
Yeah,
like,
so he's trying.
That was a bad shot. History will be told that was a bad shot. He just sounded like a poor sport and like a loser, you know. So I'm not a huge fan of Paul George, but the guy is talented. He's phenomenal. You can't take that away from him. Yeah. But I think if
he's versatile,
right,
and so is Kawhi, but they can't play together, and now both of them are injury prone. So now this is making the Clip. But you know what's crazy is they're still what are they in the West? They're still 8th. So they're still right there in the playoff spot with all their injuries. So just imagine when they get them back.
That's what I'm saying. They're a
And
serious contender. I don't know if it's time to really break the team up yet.
I kind of agree with your conspiracy thing of these players injured and shit like that. Cause like I
Oh, yeah.
noticed we're coming up on playoffs and now multiple teams like Chicago and the Clippers have been doing it for a while now. They got enough wins and now they're just resting all their stars. So it's like, oh, they're all injured kind of stuff. And we're
Yeah.
just kind of playing it out to see how it goes.
Yeah, the regular season is so long too that it almost is a necessity, load management. It makes sense. But at the same time, like James Harden, don't sit here and pull out the I'm injured card when you have 10 turnovers in a game, bro. I'm not trying to hear that injury shit. You just had 10 turnovers. Either play or don't play. That's how I feel about
that
it.
game he played like 38 minutes and only scored like 3 points and had 10 assists.
But I was just going to say,
probably 10 turnovers. I think that's that same game.
I bet you that now that he's on the 76ers, he's not injured anymore, right? I bet you. Nothing. We're not going to hear about his injury anymore because he's on the Sixers now. So he's not injured anymore. His injury cleared up right when he went to the Sixers.
Breaking news, James Harden has a hamstring injury. He won't debut until a certain date for the 76ers. Everybody.
Oh, that's right, because he's not even playing in the All-Star game.
Yep, he's got hamstring injury. He has a certain date that he's going to play, but he's shooting and he's not like in crutches or anything like that.
I guess he's actually injured then. I stand corrected.
There's breaking news today too about the Zach Levine that he sat out, that he's played 3 of the last 5 games. And now all of a sudden that he like was seen by a team doctor and they gave him advice to keep playing. And then now he wanted to go to a second specialist of his own. And it kind of sounds like more of these weird situations where like they're either like trying to get him to play through it, but there's no need. They're like already set on their playoffs, their playoff spot. It's just at this point they're fighting for, like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the point? Like, just rest your stars, because Zach Levine's hurt, Lonzo Ball is hurt, Patrick Williams is hurt, and Alex Caruso is hurt. And at this point, they're just resting their stars, or Zach Levine's actually hurt, and hopefully he can be back by playoffs. Like, how many games do we have left?
Like well, we're at the All-Star break, so we're a little past halfway. Yeah. Did you see KD skipping over James Harden on the All-Star selection? He picked Rudy Gobert over James Harden. Just like a little light snub.
I think, and his comment of when they asked him if he can make a comment about if he's injured or not, I think that is the most funny thing ever. He's like, no. I love short answers when they don't want to answer the question. No.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
And then the announcer had to like figure it out. He's like, oh, well, that was a great pick by KD.
Yeah. He had a tough job after that.
Yeah, he felt so awkward. There's like an awkward pause. Like, that's what made it so funny.
And then he said something really goofy at the end. He was like, all right, black to you in Cleveland, or black in Cleveland.
Yeah. I'm surprised you watched that whole draft. that it's gonna be a good All-Star game, hopefully, but no, it's not. That last one was really good when freaking Lillard and Steph was on the same team, and it was third quarter, and they were just raining threes. Like, the other team was almost standing there. Like, what do we do? Like, they're shooting it from half court. Like, they take a step in, shoot it, and then Dame's like, I can do that too. He sinks it, and then Steph's like, oh, you hit it. And he hits it over here, and like you just see Kyrie and them just like they try to take a step towards them and they're already sinking it, and they're just watching it go in, and then they go up, and it's the All-Star game, so everyone's playing great defense, kind of.
Yeah, I've never been too much of a fan of the All-Star game, but
which All-Star game's better, the football All-Star game? Wait, or the NBA All-Star game? So.
I've never really been too much of a fan.
NFL one.
Yeah, I kind of like the dunk contest, even though it doesn't have like some of the big name stars. I still watch the dunk contest and the 3-point contest.
Bring it back. Well, not bring it, but like bring back the like energy, like kind of make big name stars do it, like get Joker to do it, but he can't really dunk. That's like I think why these stars don't do it.
They take the position of like building new names with the dunk contest. It's like a good way to get like new up and comers.
I hate that though.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Like how Zach Levine got it, and then he's a slam dunk champion, and then Anthony Simons, how they gave it to him.
Right. as a fan, you kind of get robbed of seeing the iconic matchups, back in the day, Jordan in the dunk contest. Like, that's iconic. We never got
And
to
then
see
every
LeBron in the
dunk
dunk
contest that
contest.
they wanted Jordan there. So like
Yeah.
it just drove it more and more and more, and people tuned in. So if they just like did more exciting things besides having a weird fantasy draft.
Yeah, it's kind of a soft league now, but I am really happy about this Sixers Nets rivalry. It kind of brings it back to the 90s of two teams really having animosity. So it'll be interesting to see their first game that they play against each other. There might be situations where Ben Simmons is going to have to defend James Harden.
Who do you think's
That'll
gonna win
be
it all this year?
interesting.
Who's gonna win it all this year? Who do you think's gonna win it all?
I put my money on the Blazers still.
Oh, the Blazers are gonna go straight to the Super. We're going straight up there. No, CJ Levine. We got the new CJ. He's up there.
I think the Bucks are serious contenders.
That's hilarious. I was gonna say, but who do you think's gonna win? Not okay. Who's gonna be the top 4 teams?
Well, I think the Bucks definitely are going to be in there. I could see the Nets. What I would like to personally see is Nets versus Philly in the Eastern Conference Finals. That would be must-see TV with the rivalry and everything. But it's really competitive in the East now, so it's kind of hard to say. You can't overlook the defending champions in the Bucks. You can't overlook the Nets because, I mean, if KD had smaller shoes and didn't step on the three-point line, they probably would have been champions. So I don't know what's going to happen in the East. It's really going to be.
I kept arguing that point. Nobody will listen to me.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. For once, I could actually go into this playoff run, and I really don't know who's going to win it. Usually, it's like, okay, obviously Golden State. Everybody's just waiting for the Golden State Cavs matchup.
Well, I have to say Golden State Phoenix. And Memphis Grizzlies could really actually do something like this. This is bonkers for them to have this sort of stats. Like, I don't think Utah's going to do anything crazy. I don't think Dallas is going to do anything crazy. The Nuggets might make a push, but I highly doubt it unless they get Jamal Murray.
Streak right now.
Who?
Utah's on a 6-game winning streak.
Yeah, I see that.
Look
at the Grizzlies. They're on a 5-game winning streak too, and then Phoenix is on a 5-game winning streak all the way up there.
It's going to be great. Come playoff time, there's just going to be so much competition. I see a lot of 7-game series this year. A lot of games going to 7 games.
Also, Miami Heat and Chicago Bulls, they're up there too. Like, that's also like they're very deep teams, and like if there's all these injuries, or hopefully Chicago gets their players back, because right now they have a lot of injuries and they're up there in the seed.
Right.
Ooh, I don't think the Knicks are going to make it. You think the Pacers are going to make it in? Pacers are going to going to go all the way this year.
I think it's a little late for them to make any adjustments.
Halliburton for the win, man. He could do it.
Just comes in immediately, turns it around. They're title contenders. That would be crazy.
They're like, hey, we're tanking for a draft pick. We're going to trade you. Stop.
The Kings are just like, what the fuck?
They're like, we just gave you a really nice piece and you just trade him. Like, he's scoring too much. We're tanking for picks.
They're like, hey, can we have Halliburton back?
You imagine the Blazers? We're like, guys, you got to stop. You're supposed to like make it competitive and lose by 2. Like, what do we tell you? We're not supposed to be winning games versus the Bucks. Well, they're almost full strength minus Giannis. Like, come on, guys. Anthony going off for 30 over and over. Like, he's averaging 30 points over the last 16 games.
Right.
What? Wait a minute here. Like what? He's the third year rookie, scoring 30 points.
Yeah.
And already a slam dunk champion. Like, him and Lillard together, maybe that was already the plan. Like, him and Lillard together, because that's what I'm kind of thinking. And then they got Josh Hart to be that third weapon, and they're looking for a center and one more tailored net piece. And then all of these other players are just bench players. And Keon Johnson can still be really interesting. I really want to see him on the court.
I agree.
And then that Hughes kid, Hughes had some minutes last night, and he kind of looked pretty solid. He had like an interesting like set of minutes. It was interesting. I like seeing all these new guys that I know of kind of, but they haven't had this big of a role. And now they can come to Portland and have that big of a role. So maybe that's going to attract like young talent to us.
Yeah.
And maybe we could be a new like Golden State team and just build.
We have no choice at this point. We're not even in playoff picture. I just hope we keep Lillard. I hope this protected first-round draft pick goes well. I hope Nurkic doesn't ask for more money, and keeping my fingers crossed because, there's that Blazer curse always over us. So Yeah.
I'm worrying. I don't think it's gonna be that bad though. At least we can make options. Before
Right.
we had no money to pay anybody. All we can do is bring in one star each off season. Bring in Cody Zeller. We bring back in Dennis Cantor. We draft a random no-name rookie that most likely it panned out a couple times. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think honestly anybody's tradable on our team besides Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, and Sar Little. I think everybody's touchable, and
Yeah.
they're going to just keep making active moves until they have the right solution. Hopefully, it's not as bad as like Philly's like we're going to tank to win kind of approach. How
Trust
they
the process.
the whole trust. Oh God, please no. But I like the moves. Josh Hart's really good. He's really good. He fits our team really well. He's a like if you just think about Portland players that we bring in, Josh Hart's like the perfect guy that like it makes sense for us.
People become stars over here where they're not getting the shine on other teams, and then they come here and back-to-back 20-point games. Like he's good. I really
he hasn't been scoring like this. But that city, New Orleans, loved Josh Hart. Like I saw on the Reddit pages that they were so sad to see him go. Like they were like, "Yay, we get McCollum," but Josh Hart. So like to them, it was a big deal. To us, we're letting go McCollum. I feel like it's a lot worse for us though. Like it just hurts. And his whole letter, dear Portland.
I know it was sad. I had to stop reading it, but
I know I couldn't finish.
Anyways, I think this is probably a good spot for us to wrap it up. I don't know. Did we hit 51 minutes this time?
Did we get over 51 minutes? Or are we right there?
Oh man. Well, we'll try to get it on 51.
We need
next
a timer
time.
one of these times, dog.
Yeah.
I think we need a timer one of these times. Take it easy, everybody. Have a good one. We'll see you guys tomorrow.